If you or someone you know is sick, have tried to get help, and is not feeling any better, then call or visit the Health and Wellness Center, where we will screen your entire body and find your problem and treat you so that your body will overcome your illness. So visit us today, 72 Queen Street, Kitty, or call us at 231 6477 for further information.
Alrighty, a very good evening to all of you, my friends, well-wishers, relatives, those of you who are looking at our program wherever you are, far and near. Welcome once again. It's another Thursday, and like I've always said, I don't know where these days are going. I don't know why they're going so fast. I don't know if there is some force that's pulling the days ahead of us, or if it's just the times. But I know it's getting darker faster, which means that Christmas is coming again. And I know that that the month is already over. Next week, this time, it's going to be the end of the month, and we'll be into the Halloween cycle. We don't really do much celebrating here for Halloween, but it happens. But in many parts of the world, it's going to be Halloween weekend, and a lot of scary things are going to happen. Maybe some people will become monsters, and some people will become witches, and some people will become skeletons. I don't know, but Halloween is coming, and then after that, it's elections in America. Well, that's another story. That's a situation where history is going to be made one way or another. There's a female that is running for president, and there's a male that was there before that's running for president. Except that in the news, according to the news and according to the media and everyone else, we have a convicted felon that is running for presidency, and then we have a female who, according to the felon, she don't know if she's black or if she's Indian or whatever. So it's funny, if we have those kind of things happening in our country, in Guyana, during an election time, we will have probably a lot of lawsuits, because we are thin skinned in Guyana when it comes to those things. You can't really, as we say, tantalize people too much in this country, because everyone wants to sue someone, That's how it appears. Anyhow, we're going to have our turn for the election next year, and I don't want to start commenting on that as yet, but I'm hoping that that the best thing happened for America. Right? Whatever the best thing is, I'm hoping that the best thing happens for America, because America is known to be like the godfather for everyone else, basically, the watchdog, as they say. So we get what we deserve. That's something else that's also said, right? So anyhow, this is a health program, and I want to continue my discussion or my little dialogue on Cancer Awareness Month, because that is coming to an end also, according to the world, pretty much, because this month of October is called Pinktober, even though pink have a lot of attachments to it, but it is noted to be connected to Cancer Awareness Month. I saw something in the news in Guyana. By the way, I'm here live in Guyana, those of you who don't know. And you can call if you're ready to, if you want to call, you can call in. I'm at the phone is right here, and I'll answer. If you want to have a question answered, or if you have a comment that you want to make. According to the news, more than 260 new breast cancer cases were diagnosed in Guyana over the past year. Now, I don't know. I don't think it's correct. I don't think it's accurate. I mean, this is just my opinion. I think that it could be right or wrong because there are many persons who don't even have their breast examined to see really what's going on. They really don't want to know the truth. There are many persons who may have some type of a lump in their breast, as I can say, and they're afraid to test to see or to go to find out what it is. And then there's some growths or lumps or tumors that are in the breast, which could be considered to be benign and not cancerous, and could be misdiagnosed or mistaken to be cancer. There's a lot of things. And then it depends on how persons examine the breast will determine what they discover. Because if the contour of the breast internally consists of many lumps, if I can say that. And if you examine the wrong way, then you could feel the breast as if you're feeling lumps because of how you examine yourself. And you really shouldn't squeeze the breast to find out if it's lump in there because you're going to find lumps in there. It's natural for it to be like that. The right way to do it is to really, for a simple demonstration, just put your hand behind your head, if you're going to examine the opposite side, and then you feel the breast. You just kind of press the breast, you just press it gently to see if there is something there. Because if you squeeze like this, you're going to find a lump, right? So you just press the breast gently, and you will be able to determine if it's not or if it is something there that you need to investigate. Okay? Many persons don't know how to examine themselves. Seriously, they don't. Because I've asked many persons to examine the breast in front of me, and they would have done it the wrong way. Okay? So you must understand that the anatomy of the breast really contains like fatty tissue. Okay? They're like pockets, right? Which are natural to the breast. And you could be fooled to believe that there is a lump in there. Okay? Now, the other thing that is to be made known is that breast cancer is not only limited to females. Breast cancer is also very prevalent in males. So don't think that because you're a man, you wouldn't have breast cancer. Okay? Men are also capable. Men are capable of having breast cancer and are also capable of having those lumps in their breast. As a matter of fact, there was someone just this week who came to me with one of those in his chest, in his breast. So it's not only common to women, it's also men also can have breast cancer and can have lumps inside of the breast. Now, there are lots of theories as to what causes breast cancer or what causes these tumors to occur in particularly females, but it happens again, like I said, in males. And there are all sorts of speculations as to what can contribute to it and what causes it and everything else. But you must understand that cancer in itself is very toxic. Cancer in itself is pretty much waste matter. Cancer in itself has to do with matter that has accumulated that should have been excreted. For some reason, you were able to retain that toxic matter there, and it found home or homage in the breast. It could find it in the uterus. It could find it in the ovaries. It could in men in the prostate. It can end up anywhere in your colon. So if you must understand that cancer is toxicity. I don't care what anybody tell you. Okay? It's toxicity. It's matter that can take on a life, even though it's toxic because of the cells, the way the cells are structured, they can cluster and become a living organism that can really create problems. All right? Now, there are all types of cancers, and that's the reason why I am saying to myself, and I'm saying to whoever, it shouldn't just be Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It should be Cancer Awareness Month, general, because cancer in itself is something that is not limited to the breast. It also happens in the uterus, in the ovaries, in the prostate, in the bladder, in the colon, in the stomach, you know, in the lungs, even in the brain, you know, even in your throat. So it should be Cancer Awareness Month, because what we need to be doing is actually working on eradicating the cancers. Eradicating them, in other words, finding the reason, finding the source of the cancer, where it began, what caused it. That is where we should be spending our money. We should be spending our money and putting our efforts into realizing where does this cancer originate and what caused it to originate. We don't need to wait until the cancer is already there, because we all have cancer cells, all of us. The problem is, what is it that we would have done, or what is it that we would have exposed ourselves to that would have caused those cells to become robust cells, or to become cells that take on a life that is destructive. You see, I hear all kinds of things about cancer. I hear all sorts of theories about cancer. I spend a lot of time studying cancer. As a matter of fact, most of you don't know, but I came out of cancer myself many years ago. I came out of cancer because I was a victim of cancer. At least that's what I was told. And I've gone through that many years back, went through that, and I don't really talk about it because it's a very traumatic period in my life where I would have gone through, I don't want to say hell, but I went through a lot to try to overcome that. But what I learned in that process is that there are things that we do ourselves that causes us to become a victim of cancer. Okay? And I'm going to use the phrase that I use all the time here. We dig our graves with our teeth, and we eat ourselves into our graves. We do that ourselves. You know, because back in those days when that was discovered in me, I used to eat all sorts of things. You know, I used to do all sorts of things with my body. I used to, you know, I was a boxer. I have to tell you the roots of it. And I was told by the coaches that in order for me to have the power I need, I got to eat all this meat and all this fish and all this pork and all this, you know, all these things that I really didn't want to eat. And I knew very well that some of those foods that they were encouraging me to eat were not good for me. I knew that. Because I used to like to read, and I still like to read. I still like to study, and I do study a lot. And I knew that it wasn't good for me, but if your coach is telling you that you need to eat it, you know, then you want to listen to your coach. Okay? But when I came through all of that, at the end of my stint with boxing and all that, they diagnosed me with colon cancer. And they gave me 6 months to live because they said it had already metastasized, it spreaded, and it's gone wherever it went, and I got to get radiation, chemotherapy, I got to do this, do that. And I said, no, not me. Because when I studied the chemotherapy or what it does to you, I said, not me. Not me, not this guy, right? And I decided that I'm going to fight this. Just like I used to fight, I'm going to fight this. And they gave me 6 months to live in 1980, is it 83, 84? Right? 6 months to live. And this is now 2024. And I'm still here, right? And I had no radiation, no chemotherapy. And I stopped eating all those dead things ever since then, because I was told I had to stop eating them by the people who I consulted with to help me to overcome it. It was a colon therapist, I'm not ashamed to say it, a nutritionist, and was a herbalist. Right? Back then there were not too many naturopaths. There was a herbalist, a nutritionist, and a colon therapist. And I listened to those three people, and I must tell you that I used to weigh about 165 pounds then, before they said I had this thing. And when I was in my 3rd to 4th month of treatment from these three persons in the South, it was in Alabama, I lost so much weight that I looked like skin and bones. I'm telling you. I lost so much weight from changing my dietary habits and eating according to what I was told to eat. And I at one time I began to believe that maybe it is so, right? I never really accepted the fact that they said I had cancer. I didn't accept it, even though the records are still there. You can check it. It's Baptist Hospital in Montgomery, Alabama. I know the records are still there because the doctor is still there, and he's a very good friend of mine. And I got like skin and bone. And at one time, I couldn't even visit my parents because they were so scared and they were so concerned that if they had seen me, I knew that they would have probably broke down and, But in 6 months, after I got my first biopsy, and I must tell you, when I got the first biopsy, I felt nothing. It was easy because I just lay there and they took the sample, and I don't even remember if I had any anesthesia. It was so, I was numb. And they took the sample and they sent it off. It came back positive, and that's what they said. They showed it to me. It was positive, and I just didn't believe anything. I was asked all the questions, if I was exposed to radiation, all the things. I just didn't accept it. Anyhow, in the 6th month, I still lived, and I was alive and strong and well. I had started to gain back my weight, and I went back, and I got my second biopsy. I still have the scars, and that time I felt everything. I felt everything. I mean, the doctor kept sticking me and asking me if I feel this, I feel that, do you feel this, do you feel that? I got tired of him sticking me because I was feeling everything, and I said, no, just go ahead and do what you got to do. And when they took the second biopsy, I felt everything. Even when they were suturing me, stitching up back everything, I felt it. I just kind of put my head back and bit my teeth and bear the pain. And I knew that the results were going to be negative. When they came back, by then the doctor and I became good friends. I was working with a very big company, IBM, and he just had me in his office all day. And I knew that the fact that he had me in there all day means that something good is coming out of that result. End of his day, when he called me in to sit with him and we were discussing the results, he said that it's a miracle that I am still here and the results indicate that there is not even a single trace of cancer, right? And I used to take all of his drugs, but I never drank them. I took them and put them in a box, And I just asked him for a few minutes. I went to my car, I got the box, and I put it on his desk. with all the drugs in there. I'm telling you, this is exactly how it happened. In his office, it was cold as ice. I mean, you know, doctor's office sometimes very, very cold. And he had finished his day. We were sitting there talking, and then he says, "Boy, God really did a miracle in your life. You know, I can't believe that you came out of stage 4 metastatic colon cancer, and is sitting here in front of me, looking so healthy, with no positive results on the biopsy." So I give him the box. I says, "I got a gift for you." And he said, "What is this gift?" I said, "It's yours. Just open it." When he opened the box and he saw all the drugs in there, because I kept every one of them, all the packages and everything. When he saw them in the box there, he got cold sweat. This guy was in the cold office, and he started sweating like crazy. And he looked in there, and he looked at me, and he looked in there and looked at me, and he says, so you didn't take any of the drugs?" I said, "No, I didn't. I didn't take any of them." He said, "What did you do?" So I told him what I did, and he said, "Listen, I think the word he uses, flabbergasted, something like that." He says, "I'm shaken, you know, this is a miracle that you didn't take those drugs and you looking like this. What did you do?" So I told him what I did, and you know what he said to me? He says, "Here's what I'm going to suggest to you. Whatever you did to do what you did to achieve this result, go and learn everything about it. Learn all of it. And go and teach people what to do. Teach them what to do." I'm not kidding you. This is what he said to me. He says, "Go there, learn everything, and teach people what to do so that they can overcome cancers like you did. Because at this point, America doesn't have the answer to cancer." That's what he said to me. And to this day, I know the answer is not there. The answer is not in the drugs. It's not. We dig our graves with our teeth, and we eat ourselves into our graves. You all think about what I'm saying. Think about what I'm saying. We do things to our bodies that causes us to be sick, including encouraging cancer cells to be active. Many of you are walking around with parasites in your body. Parasites, laden with parasites. And you have no clue. Many of you are walking around with STDs, sexually transmitted diseases, in your bodies because you have no symptoms and you don't know. It's taking a toll on your body and you have no clue. Many of you are walking around here, wherever you are, at the sound of my voice, with cells in your body that are destroying your system, destroying you because of the things that you do, what you expose yourself to, what you consume, the smoking, the drinking, the consumption of all sorts of flesh foods. And I'll say it, I'm not afraid to say it. Because many of those foods that you eat are laden with chemicals. They're laden with parasites. They're laden with larvae. And we consume those foods and they manifest themselves in our bodies and take on a life that destroys our organs and our cells. You think the drugs are going to help you? You think they're going to help you? The drugs may facilitate the body's ability to heal, but they're not going to heal you. They're not. The body has to heal itself. But you've got to give the body what it needs, including changing your dietary habits, including your lifestyle changes. You've got to do that. If not, you're barking up the wrong tree. You're not going to get anywhere. How many persons don't you know who would have had breast cancer that cut one breast off? And then 6 months later, the cancer come back, the next breast has to be cut off. And then their uterus has to be, their whole reproductive system has to be taken out because the cancer would have gone all over the place. How many persons don't you know of that? And then all of a sudden, they're gone. You think cancer is ordinary? It's not ordinary. I will tell you that when I used to go to the toilet during that period of time and I defecated, I was afraid to look back because it was so red, full of blood in there, coming out of my inside. You think I was, let me tell you, cancer is a son of a gun. You hear me? It's not easy. It's not ordinary. And to overcome cancer, you've got to be a determined. You've got to be so determined to make changes that even your feelings have to become numb. You've got to be determined to want to live. And if you're determined to want to live, you've got to make the changes that will give you the ability to fight and overcome what is wrong with you. And it doesn't only go for cancer, it goes for everything else that you're sick with. Many of you will not get well because you don't want to make the changes, you don't want to make the adjustments. You're never going to be able to overcome any cancer or any illness without making the adjustments to change what caused you to get the illness. I don't care who tell you what. There's a reason why you're sick. And if you don't find that cause and fix that and change what caused you to be like that, I don't care what drug you take. It's just a matter of time. You've got to make lifestyle changes, my friends. You've got to do it. I'm talking to you from experience. I'm not talking to you from somebody who heard about cancer or heard somebody. I'm telling you because I was there. Cancer is a humdinger, as we say in the military. It's a humdinger. And I started to say things, and I'm saying it to you, leave the dead alone. The dead will take you with it. Some of you are wondering, why is it when you go to the toilet, nobody can follow you unless they give the spray and they sanitize and they allow the place to air out? It smells like something died in there when you come out. Many of you, when you open your mouth, it smells like something dead coming out of there too. But what comes out of you is what is a result of what is inside of you, my friends. If it smells dead when it comes out of you, it's because something in there is dead. Don't fool yourself, or don't let nobody fool you. Wake up. Do your researches. Try and understand what makes things happen to you. Spend the time looking at what is causing your problem. Instead of being on the phone on YouTube and all these places, get in the books. Start reading again. Because everything on YouTube and everything online is not right. Somebody sharing their experience with you, and I had to share this with somebody today. What is good for one person is not good for all. If you want to know what I'm drinking, is lemonade I made. I'm just using a bottle of this lemonade. Right? What's good for one person is not necessarily good for all. Because even though we may have the same makeup in our body system, our body functions differently. We handle foods differently. Not because somebody's eating cabbage means that you can eat it too. You may have reactions to cabbage. You may have allergies to cabbage. You may have conditions that cannot tolerate cabbage. Your blood cells may not be able to tolerate it. Just use that as an example. So don't think that cabbage is not good. Okay? Not because it's good for Tom means it's good for Harry or Dick or Mary or Sue. Somebody wrote a book, and there's some there's some truth in it, but I don't really buy it. It's called Eat for Your Type. The person who wrote that book sent it to me so I could look at it and give my views on it. I talk about this many times. And I didn't fully agree with it. Because I remember when I was growing up, we ate from our gardens. We planted our gardens. We ate from the backyard because we grew things in the backyard. even our edos we grew. And we never used to get sick. We never got sick. Hardly got sick. The only thing that happened to us sometimes is if a nail stuck us because we were running and there was some nail was somewhere, we got stuck with the nail, but we never got sick. And people hardly got sick in those days. They hardly did. Today, there are so many chemicals that are being used in the preparation of foods and in the gardening and the farming, that the chemicals, when we consume those foods, we absorb those chemicals in our systems, and those chemicals begin to take tolls on our organs. It's not funny. I don't know who is allowing the farmers to put all those chemicals in the livestock and in the farms. And you buy something from the market today, and you put it down overnight. You go back there in the morning, you wonder if it's the same thing you bought. It doesn't last anymore. There is so much chemicals being used in the farming system today that the chemicals are taking a toll on our bodies, and they are contributing to our cancers. I'll tell you that. Because if you examine the side effects of some of those drugs that are being used in the farms, you will see that many of them contribute to cancers. Today, even the livestock, the chicken that we use today, not the same chicken we used to use years ago. They could go from a baby chick to a plucked chicken in a matter of weeks, a few weeks too. You think they're growing naturally to get to those sizes? You think they're growing automatically to get so big? No. It's the chemicals that are being used in the foods that they're being fed. So today, we are not the same humans anymore. We are a chemically laden human. So when something happened to us, because our immune systems are so tasked with trying to process and overcome all those chemicals and all of the whatever else is in there, the hormones and all the other stuff that goes into the foods. Your poor organs have to process those chemicals and organs. And guess what? If you do not cleanse or detoxify your body system, if you do not deworm and detoxify your system to remove the chemicals and the metals that we consume, just today, this afternoon, I screened someone remotely in Florida. Just this afternoon. And the poor lady, she said she is so sick, and she's gone to whichever hospitals exist that she go to, and they can't find what is wrong with her. But she knows she's sick. She doesn't have any energy. She can't remember things. She's confused. She's in pain. So I agreed, which I don't do normally on a Thursday because of my program, to screen her because I was asked to do it. When I screened that woman, the lead content in her was so high that I don't understand how she's still walking. The mercury content in her was so high. The cadmium content in her was so high. She had lead, mercury, cadmium, mycotoxins. So I asked her, I says, where do you consume your foods? What do you eat? Most of the foods she consumed come from the can. The can. Tuna, salmon, sardine, corned beef. All the tin stuff she uses. Laden with lead, parasites, infestation. How could you survive? I asked her, I says, how are you able to walk? She says, by the will of God, I'm walking. I'm walking by the will of God. We dig our graves with our teeth, and we eat ourselves into our graves. Of course, one day we'll have to die. All of us will have to go. None of us are here forever. But for heaven's sake, while you're here, try and eat right and put yourself in a position so that you can avoid the onslaught of parasites and funguses and bacteria and all the other things that go along with it. And talking about those things. Do you all know that coronavirus is still creating havoc in our society and y'all don't even know? Yes, we find it in people every single day. And not just ordinary virus. Adenovirus, spumovirus, coronavirus, and so many others. Rheovirus, foot and mouth disease. We see all those things every day. And people walking around here like if, we know you're sick, and they know they're sick. But they're not finding out what is making them sick. And so they're being told, like she was being told, oh, it's psychological. I think it's something wrong with you. You're thinking too much about what is wrong with you. How can you be psychologically sick when you walk and you can't even keep your head up? You have no energy to go to work. You telling me you're psychologically sick when you can't even get out of bed? You have no energy to get out of bed. If you stand up, your knees want to give away. How could you be psychologically sick when you can't even focus and concentrate on anything? We have to be careful what we say to people. Because people walk away thinking that something is wrong with you. Because I know I'm sick. I know I'm not the same. I don't function the same anymore. You telling me it's in my mind? It's not. Say that we don't know exactly what is wrong with you, or at this time we are unable to find what is wrong with you. Something is wrong, but we're not able to find it. You can say that. And then they'll come by us, and we find it. We have the tools to find it. Because we compare you to a perfect specimen. That's what we do. Many of you out there talk nonsense because you don't know what we do. We find what is wrong with you because we compare your body system to a perfect body system. And if I compare your body system to a perfect body system and you have imperfections, I'm going to find it. Even if it's a flea that bit you, I'm going to find it. Because you have to understand one thing. As long as it registers in your body and your brain picks it up, if it registers in your brain will remember it. You might forget it, but your brain doesn't forget it. We tap into your brain. We tap into your central nervous system. We tap into your DNA. We will find it. And many of you are surprised at the findings. You're surprised at the findings because you're not told about those things that are discovered. But guess what? Those who believe and those who do what they need to do to get better overcome, and they're healthier, and they're better, and they're happy, and they tell all the other ones who know that, who are sick like they are sick, because there's a way to know. Let us say that if the person comes to you, I don't care who you are as a physician, and they say I don't feel well, don't assume that they're psychologically sick. Try to find why they're not feeling well. Spend some more time with them. Some of you don't spend any time with the people. How are you going to know what is wrong with them? You spend 2 minutes and you send them away. Try to get to the root cause. If you really are a true humanitarian, sit the person down, take some more time with them, and try to find at least somehow what may have contributed to their problems. Try. You know, don't make them believe that they're sick mentally. Yes, some of them are mentally sick. You know, some people are also spiritually sick. Some people are not only sick because they're physically sick. Some people are sick because they're spiritually sick. Some people are possessed by demons. I believe cancer is a demon itself because of what it behaves. I believe so. Anything that has the ability to take your life has to be something that's evil. Can't be. God didn't make you to be sick. He made you to be well, but we broke the rules. We broke the rules. I know we only have a few more minutes, and I promise to take some calls today, but if you call, I'll answer. But I know you're listening. I know you're listening because I don't really talk like this. Not all the time. Right? But you have to understand the foundation or the fundamentals. Cancer is not just occurring. It's not just happening. There's a reason why it's happening to you. There is a reason. And you need to find the reason why it's happening to you. Because if you don't, it will happen to someone else in your family because you may be doing something in your household that is contributing to your cancer. All these chemicals that are available today, you think they're safe? You spray all these things in your house to kill mosquitoes. You spray them to kill roaches. Huh? You think when you breathe it in, it's okay for your lung? If the chemical can kill a cockroach or it can kill a fly or a mosquito, it will take an effect on you too. It will. It's not just designed to kill mosquitoes. The chemical is strong enough to kill a mosquito and also affect your lung. Because many of you spray your homes, and I know you do, and you sit there thinking it's okay to breathe all that chemical in. It's not. It's not. Many of you like your barbecue pits, and you buy all this barbecue meat, chicken, fish, beef, whatever it is. And you don't realize that it's smoke-filled. Smoke-filled. Do you really understand? I was talking to my nephew today about the process, the barbecue process. Have you ever looked at the process of a piece of chicken that has gone through the barbecue process? Have you ever looked at it? Have you ever studied what happens to the meat? Have you ever looked at it to see the changes it goes through? First of all, you kill a chicken, right? You don't even know what kind of mindset the chicken was in before you kill him. The anger, the agony of death sends adrenaline to the chicken, and that goes into the meat. That's the first thing. Secondly, you pluck it, right? You have to pull all those feathers off of it because you're not going to eat it with feathers. And then wherever it comes from, you don't even know how long it was killed. You don't. And I want you to understand something. Decomposition begins at the time of death. Decomposition begins at the time of death. So from the time that the oxygen stops going into that chicken, decomposition begins. Next thing is, many of those meats or flesh foods are transferred without refrigeration. Decomposition continues. You don't know what was wrong with that chicken before it was killed. You don't know the kind of parasites that it had, the worms it contained. You don't know. Then you take it and you prepare it and you spice it up and you put it on a grill. Right? The liquid in that flesh, the first thing that happens to it, let's look at it. When it burns on that barbecue pit, is that it becomes gray. The flesh becomes gray in color. You know why it's gray? It is gray because the smoke from the fire is getting into the flesh. The second thing that happens to it is that the heat from the fire, it actually dehydrates the chicken. The flesh, the fluid or the liquid from the chicken, the piece of chicken, drops on the coal or drops back into the fire. And then that liquid is then burned back into the flesh. And that is where it becomes very dangerous. First, you don't know how long it's been dead. Second, you don't know what kind of parasite or disease it contained. Thirdly, the smoke inside. You telling me that you don't smoke cigarette? One leg of smoked barbecue chicken is equivalent to smoking almost 300 cigarettes. One leg, and I have documents on that, if you doubt me. One leg of smoked barbecue chicken is equivalent to smoking 300 cigarettes. You're wondering where you're getting all that smoke? You're wondering why your lung is affected? There are people who have lung cancer that never smoked. Never smoked. They died of lung cancer, but they never smoked. So how did they get lung cancer? Chemicals, cadmium, smoke flesh that you consume. When the coals burn that liquid back into the meat, it becomes very dangerous. You can look it up. Spend time looking those things up. Instead of nonsense that you're doing on your phone and your games that you play, spend time learning about what is happening to your body. And then you're going to tell me that you don't know how you got cancer? You probably don't know. It wasn't consciously known. But we dig our graves with our teeth and we eat ourselves into our graves, my friend. We do it ourselves. We do it. And then you have all these aerosol spray that you spray. Everything you spray, all in the air. You know, you spray, right? And then you breathe it in too. It's chemicals. That's just one segment. Then we have the STDs. I don't want to get into that because that's going to take some more time. And then you want to know how cancer spreads in you, right? You know, you forget that this is one organism that you have. This body is one body. You think you could, if you have cancer in your breast, that if you cut off that breast, it's all gone? Don't fool yourself. The same blood that traveled to that one breast traveled to the other. The same blood traveled to your brain. The same blood traveled to your foot, to your reproductive organs, to your uterus, to your ovaries, to your prostate. The same blood that went to the cancer travels there. It doesn't stop there. And you know what? The blood is what carries the toxins. It carries the parasites travel through the arteries and blood vessels. They swim and go all behind your eyes. You think worms are ordinary? You think they're them thing in there, don't you? Worms are dangerous. Anybody tell you you're like a worm, you're a dangerous person. You know? 5 minutes remaining. I can't believe it's already 7 o'clock. It's crazy. But listen, there's hope. There's hope. You see that number on the screen? You see the one that says 2316477? You can call it. You call it. If you think that you have had enough of whatever you had and you didn't get your problem solved, you really want to know what is wrong with you, call that number and schedule an appointment. And we will take you down a road, a path, where you will see why you have a problem. You need to understand why you have a problem. You see, when you understand why you have a problem, then you can help yourself to overcome that problem. If you don't understand why you have a problem, you wouldn't be able to understand what it takes to fix it. We don't just take you down a path and leave you there. We pretty much hold your hand all along the way if you're willing to get yourself better. But don't come too late when you're nearly dead either. Some of you come there when it's too late. You come there when the organs have already perished and your cells are already dead and destroyed. And you expect us to create a miracle. I say to people all the time, the only man that walked this earth that created a miracle, they crucify him on the cross. He created the miracles. He touched people's eye and he made them see again. The woman only hold on to his garment and she was healed. Stopped the bleeding, instantly. Somebody was already dead and he went over there and made them live again. I wish I had those powers. Because there's some people who I see that die, I wish I could save them. I can get it, I know I can get it. I just got to make some things happen. I got to change some things. I got to do some things that are different. But I wish I had it. You can overcome any cancer. Cancer doesn't have to kill you. You don't have to become a victim. You want to learn more about us? You see that Health and Wellness Center, GY.com? That's the website. Go there and look at what we do. Go there. Some of you go out there and you talk about us, you know nothing of what we do. You talk about us and you need help from us, many of you. And we can help you. We're willing to help you too. Many of you don't even understand what we do and how we do what we do. But yet still you know what we do. You've never been there, but yet still you know. How can you know about something if you haven't learned it? Anyway, go to the website and you will learn more about us. You put my name in, it'll take you to YouTube. The website is there. You can learn all about us. And we have lots of videos there you can look at. I want to apologize for last week's video. We're going to try and change that because we had some serious internet troubles and it didn't go over too well. It was a beautiful program. But I'm going to have my operator look at that and see if he can make some corrections and probably post another version of it that is better. But we had some issues last week and I want to apologize for that. Right? But cancer doesn't have to take your life. AIDS, HIV, AIDS don't have to take your life. You want to lose your life? Go down the path that the motorcyclists do. Speed down the road like a human torpedo. Your life will be taken sooner or later. If you want to commit suicide, that's a good way to do it. You don't want to live? Then just go on a motorcycle and blast yourself away. You're going to become a human torpedo like most of those others who would have already done that. But we create the issues that cause our problems and give us headache, make us sick. We do it to ourselves. We can change that. We can change that. If you want some help to know how to change it, give us a call, leave a name and number. Some of you call there and you expect that we can imagine what your number is. We can't know your number unless you leave it. When you call, if you want to make an appointment as you do, leave your number. We'll call you back. Someone will call you back. We cannot call you back if you don't leave a number. Okay? Anyhow, if I sound like I'm a little angry, I'm not angry, but I'm a little disappointed because we're not focusing really on causes. We need to get to the root causes of things, including the root causes of cancer. Get to the cause. Fix that. Spend time there. Spend money there. All this hoopla about where you're marching and all this nonsense doesn't fix anything. Talking about it don't fix it either. Worrying about it is worse. Get to the cause. Change the habits. Fix the reason why it's there. And guess what? Those cells will regenerate and you'll become a healthy living organism again. So there's hope. Don't give up. Never give up. I can teach you how not to give up. I can do that too. Anyhow, my time is up. I want to thank my operator for being a little patient with me today. I know I really didn't want to take any calls because I had a lot I wanted to get off of my chest, and I did it. So if I'm here, would I be here next Thursday? I don't think so. Next Thursday is going to be remote. I think it's going to be remote. I'm quite sure. But you can call us at the 231-6477 number. or you can get a hold of us through the channel 2 here. They'll point you to us, or you can go on the website and make contact with us, and we have some beautiful people there willing to take your appointments and try to counsel you and give you some good advice. And if you fall into the hands of the three of us, there are 3 doctors who work, and we have some other doctors who we consult with and so on, right? 2 of them were on last week, and then we have a lot more. But we're going to help you to overcome if you're willing to do what it takes to overcome. Okay? It doesn't matter what it is, as long as you don't get to us too late. All right? Until we meet again next time, my friends, thank you for participating. Thank you for watching. Dr. Haynes saying good night. God bless you, and enjoy.
If you or someone you know is sick, have tried to get help and is not feeling any better, then call or visit the Health and Wellness Center, where we will screen your entire body and find your problem and treat you so that your body will overcome your illness. So visit us today, 72 Queen Street, Kitty, or call us at 231-6477 for further information.